Hi there, it's September the 7th, and we're continuing our voyage through Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. And we're reading today the whole of chapter 9 from verses 1 to 15. Paul is in the midst of a discourse or a discussion about the gathering of a gift from the Corinthians to take to the church, the people in Jerusalem who he knows, who are in difficulties and under persecution and under famine. And so he has already said to them, he's already commended to them the Macedonians. But here's something interesting. Paul says at the beginning of this chapter, in the first part of the chapter, he says, actually, I've been boasting about you to the Macedonians and saying how good you are at giving and how amazing you are and how prepared you are to give to the needs of the people in Jerusalem. It's rather an amusing about turn here that Paul has been saying to them, the Macedonians have been amazing in their giving and they've given out of their poverty. But then he also says, but I've been telling the Macedonians that you are actually great givers. And so I don't want to be disappointed. When they come, when Titus and these friends come, he's been talking about, come down to you to collect this gift. Please don't let me down in this. Make sure that you match up to the reputation that I've painted for you with the Macedonians. It's a lovely little way of seeing into Paul's approach and Paul's way of encouraging others to give. Then in the second part of the chapter, Paul really gives some pointers about our giving, about our material sharing of what we have. He says that God wants us to give. It's part of God's nature. And because it's like sowing and reaping, that when you sow, you reap. You can't outgive God. And not that we give to get something, but actually there's a principle here that when we sow, we reap. And he says that he doesn't want people to give out of a sense of obligation or having to. He says because the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And of course, the word there in the Greek is the word hilarion, hilarious. He loves a hilarious giver, someone who gives freely, someone who gives joyfully, someone who is giving away because they know it's a blessing to others. And he then compares that to the fact that God himself gives to us. And so we are also to sow. If we sow sparingly, we will reap sparingly. If we sow plentifully, we will reap plentifully. And Paul then blesses the Corinthians by saying, may the one who gives seed to the sower bless you and increase your supply, and increase not just your seed, but also the seed that's coming in, the harvest that's coming in, to enrich you in every way. And he's also saying that this will bless God because it will show the reality of the confession that they have in God. It will show their faithfulness to God, but it will also show the fact that God's gospel, the gospel of Jesus, has brought you into partnership with God in working in his ways. And these two things are a blessing. And Paul ends this chapter, he ends this reading with this amazing thanksgiving to God. He says, God, thanks be to God for his indescribable gift in Jesus. After all, the giving that we're giving is because we have been given so much in Jesus Christ. As God calls us to live practically and to live with a sharing heart, let us be encouraged in this to sow plentifully, to be generous in our attitude, to be hilarious givers, and so be a blessing both to God and to those that we are giving to. Have a very good September the 7th.